A group of bullies suddenly dumps juice all over Cameron, then walks away laughing loudly like it is the funniest thing in the world. A moment later, Cameron is in the school bathroom. He cannot hold it anymore and breaks down in tears, quietly missing his father. But the moment does not last long. The bully gang storms into the washroom, led by Cavalli. Seeing Cameron crying only gives them more material to mock him.
Oh, come on, man.
When Cameron takes off his jacket and reveals the juice stain, the teasing gets even worse. Right then, another student named Derringer steps in. He fires back at Cavalli and defends Cameron. Cavalli immediately moves forward, ready to throw a punch, but the school bell rings for the next period, and the group is forced to leave. Before walking away, Derringer hands Cameron his jacket and casually tells him that sometimes people allow others to bully them. That night, Cameron is walking alone down a quiet road. Suddenly, the same group of bullies surrounds him. They handcuff him and drag him to an abandoned playground. There, they chain him up and announce that Cameron is about to become the next big meal for the pill, a serial killer who has been terrorizing their small town and leaving behind a trail of brutal murders. Cameron screams for help, but the people passing by are too afraid to intervene. No one wants to risk becoming the killer's next victim. Hours pass, and in the middle of the night, a masked figure approaches Cameron while holding a knife. Cameron panics and screams in pure terror, but then the killer removes the mask. The bullies jump out laughing. The entire thing was just another cruel prank. Unfortunately for them, this prank turns into their worst nightmare, because the real pill is standing right behind them. Before they can even react, the real killer begins slaughtering the boys one by one, right in front of Cameron's eyes. So welcome to He's Watching You. In reality, this town has been living in fear for weeks. A mysterious serial killer has been roaming the streets, leaving behind a growing list of victims. Now we go back 1 week earlier. Cameron is sitting in his room watching an old video of himself playing with his father. The moment feels peaceful, but it ends when his mother walks in and reminds him that he needs to get ready for school. At the same time, his sister Catherine is busy arguing with their mother. The family house has already been sold, and now their mother is also planning to sell the old theater they own. The children clearly hate the idea, but their mother seems strangely excited about starting fresh somewhere else. Soon, Cameron and Catherine leave for school together. On the way, they tease each other about their appearance like typical siblings. Along the road, Catherine runs into her boyfriend Braga, and Cameron casually takes a photo of the two of them. Later at school, Cameron is busy examining film strips. His friend Sean reminds him that their exams are coming up soon, but Cameron barely cares. He is obsessed with investigating the murders connected to the pill. As a teenage journalist, he has been secretly collecting clues, including several mysterious VHS tapes. Sean warns him that her father is the town sheriff, and if he finds out Cameron is digging into the case, Cameron could get into serious trouble. But Cameron refuses to back down. Later, Catherine, Sean, and their friend Jessica notice Cameron sitting quietly by himself. Jessica asks why he is always so silent. Eventually, they learn that Cameron and Catherine recently lost their father. Cameron has been withdrawn ever since, while Catherine seems to handle it much better. At school, Cameron continues to be a constant target for Cavalli and his gang. No matter what they do, Cameron never fights back. He simply stays quiet. Later, Cameron is called into the principal's office. There he talks about the brutal murders happening around town, including the mysterious death of his own father. Cameron insists that something is very wrong in this town and that people are hiding the truth. But the principal shuts down his theory and reminds him that his father's death had nothing to do with the serial killer. According to the official report, it was simply a tragic accident. Later that day, Cameron rides his bicycle toward the old cinema. For a brief moment, he believes he sees his father standing there, almost as if he is watching over him and feeling proud. The vision quickly fades, and Cameron continues on his way. After that, he stops by the shop where Catherine works. Catherine asks him for a favor. She wants Cameron to cover for her while she sneaks out to a party that night. Ironically, Cameron was never even invited to that party in the first place. Most of the students see him as an easy target and mockingly call him a loser. But Sean does not see him that way. Instead, she gives Cameron her phone number. Cameron stares at that small piece of paper for the rest of the day, clearly unable to stop thinking about it. That night, Cameron eventually decides to go to the party after all. He brings his camera along, mostly because Sean personally invited him. Unfortunately, not everyone is happy to see him there. Jessica immediately starts making fun of Cameron, which annoys Sean. Rather than dealing with the insults, Sean simply takes Cameron away from the crowd and leaves the party with him. She brings him into a quiet room. While holding his camera and pretending to take a photo of him, she slowly gets closer, creating a moment that feels awkward but sincere. But suddenly the door begins to shake from loud banging. It is Cavalli. Cameron clearly does not want to face him, so Sean quickly sends Cameron out through the window, helping him avoid the confrontation. Before he leaves, she thanks him for actually coming to the party. Meanwhile, Catherine is still working at the shop. Derringer shows up and asks why she never came to the party. Catherine explains that the co-worker who was supposed to cover her shift never arrived, so she had no choice but to stay. Derringer casually grabs the tip jar from the counter and walks away with it. Catherine threatens to call the police, but he leaves anyway. Later that night, Catherine heads toward a nearby motel. There, she unexpectedly sees Jessica together with Braga, which completely shatters her. But Catherine is not the only person there that night. Someone else is quietly watching Jessica from the shadows. A little later, Jessica steps out of the restroom after getting sick from drinking too much. She is clearly not thinking straight. When she comes out, the pill is already waiting for her. Too drunk to understand the danger, Jessica even mocks the masked figure standing in front of her. Moments later, the killer brutally murders her. Disturbed and heartbroken, Catherine returns home. The following day, Catherine confronts Bragg about his cheating. The argument quickly escalates into a heated fight. Cameron tries to step in and calm things down, but Cavalli and his gang show up and begin attacking him again. Not long after that, all the students are called to the headmistress's office. There they receive shocking news. Jessica has been found murdered, and Sheriff Phillips has officially started the investigation. Later at home, Cameron tells Catherine that he already shared everything he knows about the murders with the sheriff. The timing of everything starts to bother Catherine. Just the night before, she had been furious with Jessica and Braga, and now Jessica is suddenly dead. The situation feels too strange to ignore. As the tension between the siblings grows, Cameron once again begins thinking about their father. The conversation soon turns into another argument. Frustrated, Cameron storms out of the house. That is when he notices something unusual lying near the door. A VHS tape has been left outside. Written on it is a disturbing message. Something lurks within our hollow. Will you hide or will you follow? Cameron immediately takes the tape inside and plays it. What he sees on the screen shocks him. The tape contains recordings of 2 murders committed by the pill. The next morning, Cameron returns to Jessica's house and starts taking photos of the crime scene. While he is working, Derringer suddenly walks up to him. He casually mentions a rumor he has heard, that serial killers often return to the place where their victims were found. Cameron wonders why Derringer himself is there. Derringer jokes that he simply came to erase his fingerprints. As the two continue walking and talking, they notice an abandoned house nearby. Curiosity gets the better of them, so they decide to go inside and take a look. What they find is disturbing. Inside the house lies a dead body. While searching the rooms, Cameron discovers something else as well, another VHS tape. The two quickly grab the tape and leave the house. As soon as Cameron gets home, he immediately plays the recording. At first, the tape shows footage from Cameron's childhood birthday party, but the mood quickly shifts. The video suddenly cuts to footage of Jessica's murder. Cameron is horrified. Before he can finish watching the tape, Catherine comes into the room. She notices how shaken he is and tries to comfort him. She promises that she will protect him from now on. In her anger, she even claims that if the bully named Barkley ever bothers Cameron again, he will not live long enough to regret it. Later that night, the bully gang is hanging out in their hostel. One by one, they leave until only Barkley remains. He heads into the shower, completely unaware that someone else is already there. The pill appears. Barkley tries to fight back, but he has no chance. The killer brutally murders him. By the next morning, the news spreads quickly across town, and panic grows even worse. Another student has been killed. Catherine is completely devastated. She sits alone, overwhelmed with emotion. Derringer eventually approaches her and offers a cold perspective, suggesting that some people simply do not deserve peace.
Yeah, well, that's the nicest thing he never said to me.
Don't give peace to people who don't deserve it.
Around the same time, Sean enters a strange room glowing with dark red light. Inside, she discovers film strips hanging everywhere, all connected to the murder cases. And standing behind her is the pill. Terrified, Sean runs straight to her father, the sheriff, and tells him everything she saw. Unfortunately, he does not believe her and dismisses the story. Determined to prove it, Sean secretly sneaks into the police evidence room. She takes photos of several pieces of evidence and later shows them to Cameron. When they compare the details, they realize something chilling. Every victim has the exact same type of wounds. That night, Cavalli and the rest of the bully gang finally face the consequences of their cruelty. One by one, the pill brutally kills them. At one point, the killer even approaches Cameron, but strangely, he simply disappears without hurting him. The following day, the sheriff visits Cameron's house and speaks with his mother. Cameron has become a key figure in the investigation. He is the only eyewitness connected to several murders, and his fingerprints have also been found at some of the crime scenes. Despite the growing suspicion, Cameron's mother refuses to believe that her son could ever be responsible for something so horrific. Later, while sitting at the dining table, Cameron experiences something unsettling. For a moment, he sees his father sitting across from him, almost as if he is still alive, watching over him and warning that Cameron is not safe without him. The vision fades, leaving Cameron confused and shaken. Afterward, Cameron goes to his room and pulls out a hidden red box from inside his closet. Inside the box is another VHS tape. When he plays it, the footage reveals a disturbing memory from his childhood. In the video, a young Cameron is sitting in front of a mirror while wearing the same mask used by the killer. The realization leaves Cameron completely stunned. Meanwhile, Catherine steps outside to throw away the trash. When she opens the container, she is horrified to discover another dead body inside. She immediately reports the discovery to the sheriff. But by the time anyone responds, Cameron is already gone from his room. Later that night, Derringer drops Catherine off at home. Before going inside, she asks him to wait in the car for a moment. At the same time, Sean heads toward an abandoned cinema. The chain on the door has already been broken, so she carefully steps inside. When she enters the theater hall, she finds Cameron sitting alone, watching an old recording of his father. Meanwhile, outside the house, Derringer eventually falls asleep in the car while waiting for Catherine. Rain begins pouring heavily, and in the darkness, a terrifying figure appears. The pill is standing quietly near Derringer's car. Inside the house, Cameron's mother is going through Cameron's belongings. She looks through photographs of Cameron and his father, clearly troubled by everything that has been happening. Suddenly, someone moves past the room outside, almost like a shadow. Elsewhere in the house, Catherine discovers the same red box hidden in Cameron's room. Inside, she finds letters written by their father, along with another VHS tape. When she plays the tape, it reveals a recording of Jessica's murder. Not long after, Cameron and Sean return home as well. Outside, Derringer wakes up when he hears desperate screams coming from inside the house. Without hesitation, he rushes in by breaking through a window. Inside the room, Cameron suddenly walks in, but Catherine panics and believes he might be the killer. In her fear, she attacks him with a saw.
Did you kill Barkley?
You need to let go.
No, you need to let go.
Cameron gets cut on the hand and collapses. At that exact moment, the real killer appears behind Sean. The pill throws Sean out of the house and slowly approaches Cameron and Catherine. Then in front of them, the masked killer removes the mask. The truth is shocking. The pill is their father. The man they believed had died is actually alive. For all this time, he has been secretly protecting his children. Anyone who hurt them or tried to harm them became his victim. Meanwhile, Derringer has made his way into the basement. There he finds something horrifying. Catherine and Cameron's mother is tied to a chair, and one of her legs is badly injured. Derringer runs upstairs to grab something that can help free her. He quietly picks up a stick and sneaks forward before striking the pill from behind.
The world has to offer.
He quickly reveals to Cameron that their mother is being held prisoner in the basement. Cameron immediately runs downstairs toward her. While this is happening, an old childhood recording plays nearby. In the footage, young Cameron and his father are seen together, both wearing the same killer costume. Upstairs, the pill suddenly disappears. Outside, the sheriff finally arrives at the house. Inside, Derringer continues searching through the rooms with the stick in his hand. Suddenly, the killer attacks him and brutally kills him as well. Catherine desperately jumps toward her father to stop him, but he easily lifts her and throws her down the stairs. Moments later, the sheriff enters the house. Before he can understand what is happening, the killer approaches him and drives a screw straight into his brain, killing him instantly. Down in the basement, Catherine reaches her mother, who urgently tells both children to run away while they still can. Outside the house, Sean manages to reach the car and calls the police for help. But before she can finish, the killer appears again. He smashes the car window, drags her out, and begins choking her. Strangely, he spares her life and walks away. The pill then heads down into the basement. He calls out to Cameron and reveals another truth. Their mother had already discovered who he really was, which is why she wanted to take the children away from him. Cameron and Catherine try to stay hidden, but the killer eventually finds Catherine. He claims that she is just like her mother. At that moment, Cameron steps forward. Catherine desperately urges him to run, but their father instead calls Cameron toward him. Cameron approaches and embraces him, not out of love, but as a desperate attempt to get close enough. Then Cameron suddenly stabs his father with a screw. The wound injures him, but it does not stop him. In a moment of rage and disappointment, the father stabs Cameron with the same screw. Just then, Catherine grabs a heavy box and strikes her father with it. She hits him again and again until his face is completely crushed, finally ending his life. With the nightmare finally over, the siblings make one decision. They will leave this house and never return. Afterward, the survivors are taken to the hospital. Once they recover, the family eventually returns home. But the story may not be over. One day, a knock is heard at the door. Cameron walks outside and finds another VHS tape waiting for him. As he looks up, he briefly sees the figure of the pillar standing in the distance. Then the figure disappears as a car passes by. Silly morale. So the moral of the story is, if your dad disappears and mysterious VHS tapes start showing up at your house, maybe stop investigating serial killers and just go do your homework instead.